Hi Leo, welcome to your October 2016 General Tarot reading. So as I said, I'm doing this experiment where I do the love reading and then the general reading side by side. I may end after your sign. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it for all the signs, because sometimes people might get irritated if they see other signs up and they have to wait all that time for their love readings. So I want to kind of just experiment without irritating too many people. I'm going to go like this. And I had said that, you know, one of the experiments is seeing how many of these cards show up again. It's so interesting because, you know, I was shuffling them and then I spread them out like this and I drew some of the same cards, I believe. I'm pretty sure that was for your reading. I'll have to check. I did it earlier in the day. So let's see what we have here. I'm going to pick the card from the bottom of the deck, which happens to be the Seven of Pentacles. I'm going to put this next to this card because the Four of Cups to me isn't really much of a, it doesn't end on a resolution. It's one of those cards, it's almost like a state of being. So I'm not going to end on that note. But yeah, so let's take a look at this. I'm seeing cups, even with, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm seeing relationships being featured in October, even in a general reading. And the relationships don't have to be just, you know, romantic, because actually this overall energy, the Ten of Cups, it can be associated with somebody getting married or getting engaged, but it can also mean just family joy. So there could be something that was restored. Maybe you were on the outs. I actually got another 10 with the Ten of Swords. Maybe you were having some kind of difficulties within your family. And so that kind of got resolved in some way. Let's see, I'm trying to make sure because I'm not sure that my light, this is, let's see here. Sorry for this, there's a loose connection here. Well, that's better. It wasn't a loose connection at all. I just didn't have my power strip turned on. That kind of helps. But anyway, so the Ten of Cups is a very, very positive card for any kind of relationship issues. It can, you know, speak to you getting engaged, getting married, but also anything within the family that may be restored. Some sort of celebration of some kind. In the recent past, the Star card. So I'm thinking that this might have been something related to you having that, making that connection with somebody that you really wanted to make, or, you know, finally finding the person of your dreams. It could be, and this is always a possibility, that you have found out that you're pregnant, and I'm, you know, man or woman, that you're going to be having a child, because I have for the near future the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, and so this is, the, you know, because it's a queen, it can relate to motherhood. Okay, and the Queen of Pentacles is somebody who is very much the queen of her castle in her home life. So there's a very affluent vibe, a very, what's the word, you know, abundant feeling about the queen in her castle. It's like kind of like the dream house, the dream life. And with the 10 of Cups as the overall energy, I also think that it's possible that some people, like if this is a career situation, that you are celebrating. Now you could be joining forces with members of your family, or it could just mean that you're celebrating with them about your success, and maybe you got your dream job, and maybe you are in a position of authority either in the company, or you have started a business that has taken off very well. The higher message is the 9 of Cups. So this is just kind of reiterating all of the joy, the abundance that you've been feeling, and kind of saying, now watch out for gloating, especially if you've been through a difficult time, which sometimes the Star card, I feel like, can indicate, and so can, you know, the 10 of Swords. So don't, you know, as a Leo, and I, you know, of course, if I say, oh, well, Leos have big egos, you know, I'm generalizing, and it's a shadow aspect. It's not necessarily going to be every Leo person, but, you know, that's one of the things Leo can come across as arrogant in the shadow aspect. And, you know, I'm a Sagittarian, another fire sign, so we can come across as know-it-alls. That's a form of arrogance as well. The fire signs, as I said in the love reading, there's an ego attached to the fire signs because there's a sense of self that wants to be expressed. So it's important to be humble if you're all of a sudden getting this, you know, onslaught of good vibes coming your way, or blessings coming your way, and not taking it for granted and not getting puffed up about it, but really being really humbled by the fact that you're being taken care of so nicely. Because it's in the message from the universe position, it's really a spiritual message to you, to not just make these assumptions. Oh yeah, sure, this is how I roll, you know, just something very arrogant. No, I'm just saying, wow, you know, I may have been through some difficult times, but it just feels so good, you know, to have this affirmation from the universe that all is well. And what crosses you is the 10 of Swords. The only thing that can really trip you up right now is a lack of forgiveness, because this is a card of somebody who has been stabbed in the back, has been betrayed, or otherwise, you know, I feel it's not just had a low point independent of somebody. I really think of these Swords cards as coming from somebody else. And if that has been the case for you, it's very important that you forgive. I don't mean that, you know, you can't forgive on demand. It can only come when you really are feeling it, but that you even believe that it's possible to forgive and that it's valuable to forgive. That's something that you have to make a space for in your consciousness, so that when it comes of its own accord, you are ready to kind of let go. But you know, this card can be somebody who's not ready to let it go. And then you can't hit bottom, because that's what the 10 of Swords represents, is hitting bottom. But it's impossible to hit bottom if you're still kind of hung up on all of the, you know, particulars. And that's something that you have to kind of work out within yourself, of being able to see that even if you don't understand it now, that there's a reason why things happen. And just, you know, sometimes people are like, how dare it happen to me? I didn't do anything to deserve it. And it may be 100% true that you know you don't deserve it, but it's still important to try to see how we play a role in things, and also to see where the other person's coming from, even if it's not about letting them off the hook and saying, oh yeah, it's okay that you cheated on me, or it's okay that you gave somebody else a promotion that I richly deserved. That's just fine and dandy, no problem. No, it isn't that at all. But it's seeing, like, what could it possibly be? Why did that person feel the need to do that? And sometimes it could be that they just resonated with somebody better than they did with you, and it doesn't reflect on you, but they wanted to work with somebody more than they wanted to work with you, or they may feel like they identify with that person more. Maybe they don't identify with you. There are many reasons why things happen, and it's always unfortunate when people think the worst about themselves and they put themselves down. So that's when I talk about forgiveness, I'm talking about trying to understand it from a larger context, and not just your puny ego. And I'm saying not just you, all of us, when we're trying to forgive. And it's funny because what helps you, an attitude that helps you, is represented by the Two of Cups, and this can relate to forgiveness. It can also relate to what's that word? Reuniting with somebody, but like, yeah, I guess you could say reuniting with somebody. I feel like there's this restoration of something from an emotional standpoint. And, you know, this doesn't have to just be, it certainly doesn't have to be love related. And I'm trying to keep this more general, even if it's on the emotional level. And I almost feel like it, because that was the overall energy, was the Ten of Cups. So it might be a rift that was within your family that has healed. And maybe you're having trouble with, you know, true forgiveness. Maybe you're kind of going through the motions, but you're not really feeling it. You're still feeling resentment. And so maybe you have to actually, you know, do a one-on-one with somebody to kind of bare your soul and explain why it hurts so much. Maybe it's a sibling. Maybe it's, maybe, you know, you felt like you had a brother or sister who somehow betrayed you. But I do feel that you are coming together. And I also feel, oh, you know, it's funny because I was thinking, okay, I know that siblings represent the third house. So what's Leo's third house? And your third house is Jupiter. I mean, Libra. And Jupiter went into Libra. At the time that I'm doing this, it's just about to go there on the 9th of September. So it may heal some rift within siblings or other extended family members. I think the third house can also include cousins and stuff like that. I don't know about aunts and uncles. I think they might be part of the 6th house. Not 100% on that. But the family, the parents and the home of origin is the 4th house. So that's Scorpio stuff. And, you know, October, you know, the sun goes into that house at the end of the month. So that might be when things start to heal. The sun has a healing influence. And probably Venus is going there ahead of the sun. Just because I don't have my ephemeris in front of me, but I noticed that it was doing that. So Venus always kind of brings harmony to a situation, so that might be indicated by some of these cards as well. Very interesting. And, you know, looking at it from some kind of a business standpoint, I was thinking too that, you know, if you did get your dream job, or maybe you created your own dream job, you may be thinking about a partner. This might be maybe you thought you were going to go it alone, but maybe you're gonna reunite with somebody, maybe somebody that you've worked with in the past, and that person will, you know, work with you in your own business, and that would be nice. Could be a family business too. The advice is the 6 of Pentacles. So this is all about balance. You know, you see the scales. It's about getting what you deserve. You know, wherever you're working, whatever situation, whether it's a love relationship, a family situation, it's always about give and take. And obviously we cannot make assumptions that one person is, you know, that it's going to be like a 50-50 type of situation every time that you deal with this. No, I mean, I dislike this notion that everything has to be that balanced. Sometimes one person is going to put more into one area of a relationship than another person, and that's okay. But if it's always the same person, then that's when it becomes very much out of whack and unfair. And so it's all about, you know, the advice is to seek that kind of equanimity within relationships. And this also goes along with family relationships and, you know, love relationships, business relationships. Asking for what you deserve within a business, a career situation, that can be hard for some people. And some people would rather suffer in silence. And if you do so at your own peril and your own exploitation. You know, only you can be the one to bring up such matters. If you wait for somebody else to do it, you may wait a lifetime. And this goes for anything that you want. Now, Leo isn't the sign to suffer in silence. Leo is, you know, Leo is born usually, because we can't say it true 100% of the time, but usually Leo has enough confidence for 10 people and will not tolerate being, you know, undercompensated. That's not typical for Leo because you guys like to roll in style, and you can't do that on minimum wage. So you're going to be more likely than most to seek your fortune. And if it means that you have to quit, you're willing to do that. But, you know, there are always exceptions to the rule. And maybe this message was for that person about, you know, seeking fairness in everything. The outcome is the Four of Cups, and as I said, this is kind of a card. It's also one of those cards that speaks more of dissatisfaction. So what I would say, it's that whenever you get like a Four of Cups or a Nine of Swords as the outcome, it's kind of like a word to the wise or a cautionary tale, that if you do not heed the advice, that this is what will happen, and you will end up feeling very flat. You will end up feeling disinterested. If you're in a situation where it's one-sided, you will not feel like you're really invested in that situation because you know that the other person isn't invested. If, you know, the perfect example is if you are really, you know, making an effort to contact somebody to spend time with them, and it's not the other way around. You're always having to call them. And it could be a friendship. It could be with a family member. And you feel like it's a one-way street, then it probably is. And you're going to be left feeling like blah, like you don't have any kind of passion going on, and that's something that you're signing up for. If you want something exciting, passionate, you have to be around passionate people. If you surround yourself with people who treat you, you know, with indifference, then you're going to be indifferent. And the other thing too is, I pointed out in the other video, and I don't think it was your love reading, but it might have been, that person is being offered something. And and this is like a spiritual kind of a thing, because it's the clouds represent the heavens. And the person is kind of just like staring right through it. They're not interested. And that speaks to gratitude. If you're not able to see the good things in life, it doesn't matter how many good things there are. You're going to see what isn't there. And that is on you. That is your mistaken consciousness, or a sense of what life is about. So I picked another card as the outcome, and it's the Seven of Pentacles. This can mean that you're going to have to be patient. Maybe you are feeling a bit unimpressed by some sort of the things that have been going on that maybe relate to whatever you're celebrating. In October, you may still feel like things are not happening soon enough. And this is saying you have to give it time. It's taking root, whatever it is. And I would say this could definitely apply across the board, specifically for business, especially if you've started it. I really feel that this is a card for small businesses, because the person is alone, is solitary. You know, sevens relate to solitude, and they're doing it. There's not like a whole bunch of people with them, but they're not sure. They're assessing. And maybe they had hoped that things would take off sooner, and they're not. And so they're kind of going, wait, what do I do now? And this is a card that says, hold on. There still is time that has to, you know, be allowed for this endeavor to really show its stuff. If it's a relationship, the same applies. You can't just expect it to suddenly take off and everything is just hunky-dory and there's no you know, kind of hiccups or anything like that. No, I mean, it might be something, it could be with an earth sign, it could be with a Taurus or a Virgo Capricorn individual. And with earth signs, things tend to be much slower, because earth sign people are very pragmatic and they're not interested in quick fixes and, you know, flashy situations. They're much more solid. So they're going to take their own sweet time, especially if you're dealing with a Taurus individual. They're very pokey when it comes to everything. I have Taurus rising, and I do not like people trying to rush me when I'm, you know, doing my thing. And sometimes, you know, I notice that people are like kind of impatient. This is a card of patience, of, you know, really taking stock of how it's progressed so far. So to recap, I think well, first of all, you've gotten some amazing cards. The Nine of Cups, Ten of Cups, and the Star card. Those three alone. But it's, you know, and then you have the Two of Cups. So you have these cups, and then you have the Ten of Swords and the Four of Cups, which are kind of, you know, those are the challenging cards. But it says to me that there is a lot to celebrate within the flux or the conflict, whatever the challenges that are facing you. There's like the light and the dark, and there's more light than dark, that's for sure. So I hope that you enjoyed this, Leo, and I wish you all the best in October. It sounds like it's going to be a good month for you. And if you'd like a personal reading, click on the description box below. There's a link to my website. Take care. Bye.